and thanks for joining us for your favorite magazine, Culture 24 on Africa 24. Today we are receiving Constance Ejuma. She is an actor, screenwriter, and a producer born Cameroonian. She is known to the general public for her different characters played in successful movies and series, notably Black Panther, 24 Hours Chrono, and many more. In today's edition, she is going to talk about her projects, her career, and the contribution she wants to make in Africa. Welcome once more, Constance Ejuma. So, cinema lovers know you through the different characters you have played in successful movies and series, such as Black Panther, Esprit Criminel, or The Good Doctor. But when we get out of these characters, who is really Constance Ejuma?
Well, I guess Constance Ejuma is somebody who likes to enjoy life. She has simple pleasures, reading, traveling, spending time with friends and family. I'm a pretty simple person who just likes simple things. I don't think there's much more to me than that. So my personal life is very different from the characters that I portray on screen. And what I do in my work in front of the camera is exactly that. It's work. And when I go home, I have a completely different life that I like to keep quiet and private.
It is really amazing. So at a very young age, you were already attracted to the world of cinema, reason why you studied theater at university. But between the passion and the fulfillment of such a career, there is more than one step. What do you think made a difference in your career?
Well, I think like anybody else who is successful in this business, there's a certain amount of training that you get, a certain amount of schooling. And then once you get your initial education, your education continues with experience. So when I was a teenager, I started to take acting classes. I did theater in university. That's what I studied as part of my undergraduate studies. And once I graduated, I moved to Los Angeles and started to work like any other actor, pursuing the field in an environment like Hollywood. So it's not easy. It's quite a long and winding path, but I think the key to success in this area in particular is perseverance and determination, and I think I have both.
So you were born in Cameroun, but you grew up in the United States. The challenges that African American can encounter are well known, and even if the American dream is true, we must give ourselves the means to achieve it. As an African woman, what challenges have you encountered in making your way?
In making my way
Yes.
as an actor?
Yes.
I think things are changing now, but in the early days of me going down this path, the biggest challenge was the idea that Africa is a country. Many people still have that idea, but I think with things like Black Panther coming out and Afrobeats being as popular a genre of music as it is today, more and more people, and social media as well, has really been helping educate people about Africa and Africans and how diverse it is. I think a combination of all those things have made the types of stories that are being told about Africa a bit more nuanced, and the representation of Africans in Hollywood has improved over time. You know, back in the day, everybody thought Africa was a country. Now, more and more people are starting to recognize that, you know, West Africa is different from East Africa, is different from Southern, it's different from Northern, and that Cameroun is different from Kenya, it's different from, you know, South Africa and Algeria, for instance.
Let's go back to the Black Panther experience, a film that had an impressive global reach because of its quality, but also, and above all, the strong message it conveys about Black culture in the world. Tell us about this experience. What did it bring to you as an actress, but also as a Black woman?
The Black Panther experience was, I would say, it really marked a change, and it was quite impactful to the film industry, especially in Hollywood, because it was actual proof that a film featuring a cast of entirely Black people could make it and generate a lot of interest and get a lot of revenue. Black Panther was, at that time, the highest grossing film ever you know, and I believe it still holds the record. So with that happening, it kind of signaled to the Hollywood industry and to the world that there is an interest in Black content, there is an interest in Black culture, and that Black Americans themselves want to connect with this history and this legacy. So it was very, I think, encouraging for the studios, who at the end of the day, it's a business for them, and they want to know that there is an audience out there for their product, and the audience really came through and made its desires known and felt, and they showed their support by showing up to movie theaters and supporting the film. As an African woman, I think the best I can do is just continue to represent myself and my culture authentically, and to tell the truth and dispel any myths about what it means to be an actress in Hollywood, what it means to be a Black actress. It's not easy, it's not always fun, it's not always glamorous. And you know, anybody who is looking at me thinking that it's all fun and games, well, that's not the case at all. So it's a very difficult path. And while I appreciate all of the attention and the appreciation for my work, I think it's also important for people to know that it's not an easy field, and that it's extremely challenging.
Your presence in Cameroun is also an opportunity to share the experience acquired. The cinema sector in Cameroun is facing many challenges, financially, professionally, and the various actors' role you can play in. What role do you think you can play in the cinema sector in Africa, especially in Cameroun? How can you develop it?
Well, I don't think it's up to me alone to do that. I don't know enough about the industry here to really be able to comment on what the needs are. But you know, I'm taking the opportunity to meet with filmmakers while I'm here, to really understand what their challenges are and what they feel they need in order to be more successful and more impactful. But to be honest with you, I alone can't come up with, you know, how I can contribute. It's just a matter of having a dialogue with people in this industry to really understand what their challenges are and how I think I can participate in that. But on that note, you know, I am, my main field and my specialty is in acting, and on this trip, I have an acting workshop planned in Buea. And I think, you know, I don't know everything, and I'm here just in the spirit of sharing what I myself have learned, but I'm not here to present myself as somebody who knows everything, because I myself am still learning every day.
Beyond the entertaining side, cinema can and must also have an educational role, and it is in this dynamic that you design the piece Ghost Town, which looks back in the crisis of the Northwest and Southwest regions in Cameroon. Do you have other similar projects, and what impact do you want to have with this type of projects?
I don't at the present moment have a project that I am working on. There's a couple of ideas that are in development right now, as far as personal projects go. And as far as impact, I'm more interested in exploring things that are of interest to me personally as an artist, not necessarily creating work that is commercial. For instance, Black Panther, that's a very commercial film. But as somebody who is a filmmaker myself, I would not think to make a project like Black Panther. That's not what I'm interested in creating as an artist. Now, I did a short film a few years ago called The German King, about the life of Rudolph Douala Mangabell, and it was written by a very good friend of mine whose name is Ade Tokumbo McCormick, who is an actor in Hollywood, but he is of Sierra Leonean descent. And he was very inspired by the story of Rudolph Douala Mangabell, and he decided to write a script about it and invited me to participate as a cast member as well as a producer. That film was released. It got a lot of positive attention, and right now Ade is in the process of developing it into a series, and he is working towards getting investors and raising funds to actually make that a reality. So those types of things take quite a bit of time. It's never easy to raise money, but that is a project that I envision some parts being worked on here in Cameroon.
You are an actress, screenwriter, and a producer. What is the cap that suits you best, that is, which you feel most comfortable, and why?
So I'm not a screenwriter yet. I wrote a play, so that's my main credit as a writer. My specialty is in acting. My interest began with acting. My interest is still acting. As far as wearing other hats like writing and producing, those came more as a necessity because, you know, a lot of actors, when they find that they are not coming across stories that really display their talent very well, then they realize maybe I should write something for myself to put my full talent on display. That was the reason why I became a producer. You know, I produced Ben and Ara, which was a film that I starred in, and I became a producer of that film, not because I really wanted to be a producer, but because it was necessary for me to be a producer and to take ownership of the development of my own career. So acting is still my thing, it's my main thing, and if I get pulled into wearing other hats like writing and producing, it's only because it's absolutely necessary to ensure my longevity in this business.
So what advice do you want to give to young Africans who want to engage into cinema?
I would encourage them to do what they can where they are. I would encourage them to cultivate a love for stories, a love for storytelling, a love for reading, you know, novels, biographies, poetry, plays, just read all kinds of stories. I would encourage them to create a community for themselves or identify a creative community where they are and start working with and dialogue with other people who have similar interests as them. Because it's very, very difficult when you're by yourself, you're working by yourself and you feel very isolated. It's really important to have a support system. Having a creative support system and being part of a creative community has really helped me, especially with my mental health. You know, it's a very difficult path, the path of creativity, the path of being an artist. So when you meet with other people who are pursuing the same things, you feel as though you are less isolated and you feel as though you have a bit of support.
Dear viewers, and here ends your favorite magazine program, Culture 24 on Africa 24. See you next time for another edition.